Hello, welcome to Chusaroja. This is going to be my first episode, hopefully of many. My name is Evelyn. You can also call me Violeta, the spiritual name given to me at a certain point in my life that I'll share at some point. Today we are going to bring the connection to spirit, the understanding of the spirit realm, seen from the perspective of a Maori healer. His name is Huirama. He draws on the knowledge of his ancestors, restore the energy of homes, lands, and workplaces. Tau is a storyteller and author, the kāumatua of Cancer Society in Wellington, works directly with the Ministry of Health at certain times and brings the spirit knowledge to the Western medicine, as he shares through this episode with me. I have had the pleasure to meet him a few years ago, and I understood then even more the openness that is required in order to bring an understanding of spirituality to this earth, and the value of accepting everyone for who they are without trying to change them or modify their thinking. We can always change within from our own experience. So, I hope you enjoy this episode. Please comment below if you have any questions that you would like to ask to Tau. As he will tell you in this episode, he sees spirits since he's 4 years old. And it's been such a pleasure to have him with me during this talk. Enjoy, and please let me know how this feels for you. I'm happy to hear your feedback, and I honor you and everything around us. Thank you.
The power is within you. The power is.
Hello, Tau. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful and honored. Share even more and deeper your work, which is for me very important. I would like, even though we've been chatting for such a long time, and I just pressed record, I still wanted to know if you would do the honors of doing a karakia so that we can begin.
Yes, sure. Excuse me. It's interesting how, can I just start about what karakia means for me?
Of course, please.
Yeah, so kara means to call, and kia is to call to something. And then you've got karanga, that is the calling when our mothers do the call. And the karanga and the karakia originally was pitched at a certain level. So they became the chants. And in the chants of the karakia, allow the vibration of the spirit to come to flow through. So that was, and what I found over the years, I've followed a lot of different Christian groups and trying to pick out which one should I follow, because I was looking for my own spirituality then. And I looked at Catholicism, looked at Anglicanism, looked at Mormonism, and they lacked something that I was after, and that was around the spiritual side. So I ended up going into the spiritual world, and everything I do is from a spiritual side, a Wairua side. And every time I do a karakia now, I do karakia online. And for me, it's around bringing, everyone has a faith or has a guardian angel or kaitiaki or God or Jesus. But in my karakia at the beginning, it's always to invite people to bring their faith so that we all walk this pathway together. So it's not about my one, this is the only one. It's around how do we bring our faith beside us, those that are dear to us, that gives us inspiration and safety and things like that.
Yes.
So I always say like kia kotahi mai e tō whakapono hei manaki hei tiaki tātou katoa I roto I te huarahi I mua ki a tātou. Mā te wairua, e ohota wairua mātara te tinana me te puta te aroha. So what that is, saying, let's bring all our faith together to be beside us as together we walk this pathway. And the pathway for all of us to strengthen and be with all of us to share so that our spirit could be awakened, our life force could be lively and aroha is able to flow freely between us. So haumi e hui e tāki e. And they say haumi e hui e and they say hara mai te toki haumi e hui e tāki e means haumi e means let's get together. Tūturu whakamaua means tūturu have what I've said. Does that resonate with you? And people say tina. They say hara mai te toki haumi e hui e tāki e. Hara mai te toki was give me the toki or the chisel, or has what's been said been etched on your mind? And if it has, then let's agree to move forward together. So that in the karakia, everyone is brought together, honoured, and it's collective. And others they say with what has been said, and support that. And then you can move ahead. They can all move ahead and be able to wānanga. Wānanga is another word that wā is time and NGA is the wānanga is a time when you're able to discuss, unpack and explore. And there's no hierarchy in it. It's just about let's have a discussion and this is what's happening for me, what's happening for you. And we're both able to fertilize this ground between us.
Kind of have a communion
to
our discussion.
Yeah. So that's a long explanation of karakia.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And I wholeheartedly agree with it. I believe that as you always share, we all bring something. And the more we can bring it forward and talk and discuss about it with respect, with love, with understanding, the more we can actually accept that we are all in this together and it in the end being one on this earth. I would like to share, we've met a couple of years ago at a very difficult time for myself that was diagnosed with relapse of acute myeloid leukemia. You opened the doors of your house and your wife and gave me a space to connect in exactly the same way that you just described. And at that time, I remember, even now I can feel it. Not with many people in my life, I had the chance to communicate with from the spirit side that I believe wholeheartedly in my heart. And with you, it was just pure bliss because I could just share and talk and things were, oh yeah, that's how it goes. Yes, this is also a possibility, and it gave me a lot of power. It empowered myself again, because illness actually kind of, at least for me in my experience, kept feeling that my body wasn't responding to me, so the power goes away and you have to trust the doctors and you have to trust the external side of things, and you lose that connection to oneself, to even up to a certain extent to God or the highest divine light source, whatever you want to call it. So trusting again in the side of spirit before I went into transplant, and having someone like you resonated with that and opening that space meant a lot to me. This is Arlie. I'm looking after it. And so thank you so much. And I wanted to open this space for us to actually be able to share this with everyone, letting people understand, as you say in your book, come with spirit, and we choose the way we bring that spirit forward in our life. And on that note, I would love to know what you could share with us, how you started with working with spirit.
Yes, thank you. I'll start from when I was 4 years old. I saw my first ghost walk across the room at home, and I yelled out and I said, "Mum, Mum, Mum!" And she came running in, and I said, "There's a ghost that came through the lounge and walked through a closed door." And Mum, the first response my mum had was, "No, you didn't." And I thought, and I saw it. It was vivid on my mind, and it's still vivid on my mind now. But because my mum was frightened, she closed it down. And I think that was the first time that I ever saw a ghost. And through life up to when I was about 30, I had a lot of visits. I didn't understand it. I didn't want to, mainly because I feared it. All the stories I heard about spirituality at that time was, well, don't go there or you're going to the dark side. And I didn't have anyone to talk to check out, or to question some of the things. I had questions on my mind, and I had no one to talk to answer these questions. And then I went up with my brother to Māori, and on the way there, we were told that my cousin was going to be dying. She's dying and in hospital, so we were going to see her on a Sunday. And on the way out there, I got a psychic attack, meaning that, at times it was like when you're in bed at night and you wake up with an intense fear of fright all of a sudden. And this thing happened during the day. And what was on me, my brother saw I wasn't talking with him because I was in a frozen state. This thing jumped across on him, and he felt it, and he froze, and so he had to take his foot off the accelerator. Anyway, this thing went away, it broke, and then he went out to our marae. And we ended up playing cards till about 7 o'clock the next day, and then we had a sleep. Then went up to see my cousin. And we went around and called around to the house, and the husband said, was pleased to see us, and we told him exactly what had happened. And he asked us to repeat it, and so we did with the time frames. He said at the exact time that you got this attack, he said your cousin, the doctors had walked away, she was supposed to die, had given up. And he said 7 o'clock when he went to sleep, she woke up this morning. There's nothing wrong with it. And I said, oh, that's strange. And he said, yes. He said she had a makutu on her, so someone had cursed her. And I said, oh, all right then. And he said, so now that's your job. I said, but I don't want it. He said, you've got it. And he said, go home to your people, go back to Ngāra to your people, and talk to the kāumatua back there. So I went home and I looked up our kāumatua, and they were always saying yes, yes, but they were too busy. And I was fearing, I had this intense fear because I didn't know what to do, but was this thing, a gift? I didn't want this gift if it was, you know. Anyway, in the same time, and because he said to me, go and see the kāumatua back in Wairua here, or you will see someone and within 3 weeks and they'll talk to you. So within that 3 weeks, there was a psychic gathering, and I thought, oh, I don't believe in psychics because I didn't have much respect or confidence in spiritual things at that time. But I thought, oh, well, this falls into the time frame. I'll go and have a listen to them and see what I can pick up. But I was totally amazed, and I went there, and I was amazed with their humbleness. Um, inviting us in with their generosity and the clarity of their messages. Out of quite a huge number of people there, I was one that got a message, and they said to me, "Oh, your mother's here. Your mother's saying that it's all right. Don't be frightened. It's all right on the other side." And I thought, "Oh, are they just saying that? Because because they want me to believe them?" And anyway, as they were talking, they said, "Your mum used to be really frightened." I said, "Yeah, that's right." And she said, "It's really good there. Don't be afraid. You'll be all right." And in one of the messages, they said to me, "Oh, you're going to do some marvelous things in the spirit world, and you're going to do a lot of healing and stuff." And I thought, "Oh, well, that's." I said, "Yeah, I could do that," but I thought the first thing I wanted to do was to learn how to protect myself, because that was my biggest fear, around feeling that it's too dangerous, didn't know what to do about it. So I ended up going to this psychic group for a number of years, actually. And I ended up running my own psychic group. And we used to do work with the police, and the police would come and bring in clothing and ask us to help find and identify where these people could be and stuff like that.
Mm.
And then later on, after a few years, because I've been doing this for 40 years now, but after about 10 years, I decided to go back into the Māori world because at that time there were a lot of conversations around Archangel Michael, and there was all real good stuff, you know. But what I missed in my way of spirituality was my own cultural stories.
Yeah.
And where did they live? So I started to go back into our own cultural stories, and instead of connecting up with Archangel Michael and Raphael, and I started to talk to my own ancestors, and started to get some good messages, and then again I was checking out, am I imagining what they're saying, or are they really talking to me? So the first few times I just ignored it. And then I said, "Oh no, I'll listen, and I'll listen to what they say, and I'll follow through." And so the messages started to come through, and I started to have confidence. But it was getting over the fear of spirit world and knowing that it was going to be safe. And that it was really important that I was going to be safe for others, with knowing that if I'm unsafe, the people that I'm working with are going to be unsafe too, and my families could be unsafe.
Yeah.
So learning how to protect myself and others as part of my practice going forward was really, really important. And so after a while, like I say, 40 years I've been doing this. I ended up, I was a unionist, and I ended up down here in Wellington as national manager for domestic violence.
Yes.
And in that, I saw a lot of women being physically beaten, but also spiritually depleted. It was really sad when I saw the woman that were lifeless, because of the beating and the torment and stuff like that. And I knew that there was another way to do the healing beside, making men accountable. What did we need to do our mothers and our sisters and our aunts that were going through a lot of this. And we could challenge the law. The law wasn't. The horrible thing about the LAW at that time was that men would be arrested and taken to jail, but they weren't challenged enough to change the behaviour. So they'd go along and abuse another woman later on. So you see, and then I wanted to make spirituality or Wairua a natural thing, which was really hard because, like I say, people come and in the Māori terms, they would say, "Oh, he tapu tera, don't go there, don't do that, it's really sacred," you know. So they put this fear, that fear into you. And then people were saying, you know, when you're doing meditations or talking to, it was all right talking to the ancestors, but if they replied to you, they said that you were crazy when you could hear voices. Yet they say you could talk to them, but if they talk back to you, and you had all these messages going on that you had to try and decipher for your own mind, you know.
Yeah.
And you start to work out, you know, people offer you a lot of great advice and a lot of great teachings. But also when you go into the spiritual world, I think the biggest gift you've got is yourself. When you can create your own belief system and not have to do things because other people say that that's the way to go. When you can create your own and support it, that's 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 great. And people used to ask, so what's the difference between spirituality and Christianity? I said, the messages are the same. And I said, Christianity, you know, you're telling Jesus' story, which is all right. Spirituality, you're growing your own story. You're growing your own story around what Jesus talks about, around how you be kind to people and things like that. And one of the things that I've grown over time is my own tikanga or my own ways of working and ways that I don't work. Because the ways that I do work is that I always uplift others. I leave other people in a good place. I don't put people down. I don't hurt myself or don't hurt others, you know. And I do. The do's are really important for me.
Yes.
So that's helped to guide my work. And, you know, although some people don't know you, what they do notice is that there's a consistency in the way that you talk, the way that you behave, so they gravitate towards you because they can trust you. And you're not going to go along and be nice over here and square down the road at a dog or something, you know.
Yes.
You still see a lot of that going on with great people. They do some horrible things on the side.
It's
So
it's
it's about
it's
setting
called
yourself these boundaries, good boundaries that you can always be reflective of doing the same thing all the time. And you know, we were talking earlier that sometimes you do make mistakes, but let mistakes be about choosing to do something. You could always find to do something better. The mistake is when you're making a mistake. You know, correct it and do something else. Because in the way we're going to learn this from what doesn't work to what did work. Yeah. So spirituality for me and now that I see spirituality in everything. And in people, I see it in colour, see how people. And being a spiritualist, you can see in the vibrancy of the colours. When I'm clearing houses, I'm being told to use the colour yellow because that's the vibrancy of the yellow. That helps to clear the land. And then I go into the house and with the people. Yeah, and so your senses, your senses are heightened. I mean, you can see things that aren't there. You can hear things that other people can't hear.
Yeah.
You can see, you can feel things, you can smell things that other people can. So that's a part of becoming more spiritual. But I think what helps people to grow is to always ask the question why, and don't accept other people's stories of you do this because you have to. Usually it's created by someone that's in power to tell you to do something. And the power is within you, you know. The power is within each other of how we do things.
Definitely.
And we can reap our own rewards. You know, people say, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I use crystals? And I said, well, you use what you need to use at that time, you know. People say, oh, you know, crystals and pounamu or greenstone, you know, it's crystal Lotharia thing. And I think, well, crystal comes from Papa Tunaku. So it comes from Mother Earth. As I said, what's our relationship with Mother Earth? Yeah,
It's like it brings lots of different tools that we can
yeah,
use, and
yeah,
we have to use them at the time that
yeah,
we are needing
yeah,
to bring it forward.
yeah. I had a pretty fanatic on crystals.
Yes.
So I had a lot of crystals. I love them. They got lovely energy. And anyway, I was having a meditation and I had a voice say, why do you keep buying crystals? You know, some people are exploiting Mother Earth, you know, to get these crystals. So in my meditation, I said, so what shall I do? They said, well, meditate and take yourself there. You know, you don't have to pull them out on Mother Earth. You take yourself to where the crystals are and bask in the crystal energy. And so now I take myself to these places. I don't have to buy things now. No?
I remember
Yeah,
you shared that with me
yeah,
before.
yeah.
Yet I haven't mastered that. I still use my crystals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But yes, it's so important, and it's so true that actually people are the miners, depending on where you are in the world and what is happening. There is a lot of people that are actually suffering while they do that job.
yeah, yeah,
So it's
yeah,
very important that we get them from the right places if we
yeah,
are going to actually go through that path. That's definitely
yeah.
right.
Because I want to get back to you when I first met you too, and I was really appreciative, you know, of you coming around that time, and you were so determined, and you had a beautiful energy, you know, and you go down the pathway of cancer, and your way of dealing with it was really positive and lovely, and knowing that confident that things will get better because you admitted that, you know, like it can come from you. And so, yeah, that's how I've come to get you over the years, and it's just seeing you go from strength to strength. It's wonderful. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tom. Yes, I've always, both times, I think that I just had that trust that I might not have to many other things, and I should maybe, but with that, it was like, okay, I'm gonna survive. Whether I don't like the word survive, but
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what's coming through. It's I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna
yeah,
make it. I'm gonna put everything towards this to make it, because it was my body, the one that was struggling, but my soul needed to stay here.
yeah.
And that's how I can describe it now. Back then I couldn't describe it in this way, I think.
Mhm.
And talking about that, I would like to bring maybe now why we are here together as well is to share the understanding of meditation. And meditation for me at that stage really helped me. First of all, one of the things that I actually understood then, and that was something that my ex-husband shared with me, you do one thing a day. You're going through a lot. Back then, as I shared with you before, maybe 21 different medications that takes half of your day in order to get them. And you are burning inside because after transplant, you could get lots of things and it rips off parts of your organs internally and you're in pain. And so just one thing a day. So sometimes it was journaling, sometimes it breathing, sometimes it was, but one that always helped was connecting with meditation, which was, for me, as we talked before, is the understanding that we have neurons that connect, and the way of meditation is literally allowing ourselves to, yes, we are going to go out, our mind is going to start creating thoughts, and that's where our mind needs to go, because fight or flight mode, it needs to take you out of that feeling of tranquility sometimes. And therefore, meditation through breathing, through guided meditations, it allowed me to refocus, come back to the present, and therefore, throughout the day, when we are in that ruminant state of thought, automatically our brain starts bringing us back to the moment of, okay, no, I'm here. I don't need to be out there. I'm here.
Yeah.
But I would love you to share your view as well as meditation, because it actually opens it up even more for everyone to flavor a little bit more of what meditation is as well.
Yeah, thank you. Meditation for me, I tried to get a clarity on what that was, because I'd have a karakia or prayer, and I'll pray to my ancestors, and that was a form of meditation. That I'll be talking to them and they'll be talking to me, and before I go out and do cleanse the house, I'd have my meditation or a place where I find where it's quiet, where there's no distractions, where I can start to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in all the lovely energy, breathing out all the tension of the day, because we know that we carry a lot of tension on our shoulders. There's stuff that's in us, there's stuff around us, around the environment that we carry all the time. So the goal for the meditation for me was to be able to breathe in, the breathing, and clearing those away. And at the same time, at the end of my meditation, I'd meet with the ancestors to get a bit of affirmation, or they would talk to me around where I am, and then I could ask a question, and I'd come back in. But yeah, meditation was important that I find a place of peace, with peace and quiet, to be able to do that. I realised after when I first started that I don't do it when I'm stressed, because it's hard to break through. Yeah.
Yes.
Then I tried to work out what's a good meditation, because I'm busy all the time. I could go in and do an hour meditation where I just put myself into a quiet place and let come. And then I started to have meditations which was mixed with visualization and stories. So I would start my meditation. It was really important that I was comfortable. My palms were in the air, my feet were flat on the floor, just so the energy could come through. And then being able to take in the 3 deep breaths, one at a time, and breathing out. breathing out the worries of the day and feeling that leave your shoulders. I will take myself to a countryside and being able to smell the grass, be able to feel the sun rays upon my face, able to feel Papa Tuanuku, Mother Earth underneath my feet, the warmth of Papa Tuanuku, be able to hear the birds in the trees close by. And in the meditation, I would see the sea and I could feel tāwhiri mate, the come and just give you a light breeze and blowing all this heaviness from around me. In my meditation, I'd walk towards this bridge in front, and there were a bridge, and at the bridge would be my kaitiaki or my guide or an ancestor or someone that was safe, that I felt safe with. To go into the next part, and I'd cross the bridge. And as I crossed the bridge, a nice light mist would come up, and that mist was also letting me know that they were lightly cleaning away that debris of gunk that's around me, but also remind me that I'm going deeper into the spiritual world. Then looking down, I would see the sea, so I'd make my way to the sea. And then go and sit on a sand dune overlooking the beach. And whilst there, I'll see like tāwhiri mate or the incoming tide. As the incoming tide came new life, new thoughts, new energy. And with the outgoing tide went the heaviness and the tensions and unloading from the information that I don't need at that time. So it's about 2 or 3 times that I've just allowed it to come in and absorb the energy and the wairua that was coming in. And then I looked down the beach, and down the beach I could see 3 figures walking down, coming towards me, and one of them looked like one that I knew, figure that I knew. And so they come up close to me, and then they come and stand in front of myself and my guide. And they give me a message each. And so I just remind myself to bask in the sun and receive the messages for the love and support that is given to you in. Then I ask a question and ask them to what the answer would be. And when I've got the message, I stand up and acknowledge them, and they acknowledge you. And then they walk back down the beach, down the hill, and walk down the beach and watch them go. Then you turn around and walk back up the hill, across the bridge. Always taking in what's happening in nature around you, the butterflies, birds singing in the trees, and coming back across the bridge and giving thanks to your kaitiaki or your guide or the one that was with you. And then walking back up the hill and then turning around to look back out the sea. And again, allowing tāwhiri mate, the kaitiaki of the winds and the breeze to lightly blow the lovely energy around you. And then when you are ready, sort of come back into the room. So a meditation like that takes about 25 minutes, but it's packed and you get a lot out of it. There's a lot of things happening in it. Like I say, I could do one of those meditations or do one that I just put myself into a nice calm place and allow whatever country comes through, and that could take me up to 45 minutes an hour if it lasts.
That is a beautiful meditation. You've done it for me a few months ago, I think, and I received a beautiful message, and I connected with my ancestors on that beach. Oh, thank you for that. I was going to ask you. It was very dark.
I thought, oh, well, put a bit of light on the subject.
It was perfect. Talking about the messages and the connection with the ancestors. What would you say to someone that is seeking this type of connection and would like to, open themselves up to the spirit world, but they don't know where to start? What would be your message?
I think first and foremost is to connect with someone that they feel safe with, because meditations could they put you into a place of vulnerability for a lot of people because they've been led into a place that they don't know. So a lot of it is around as you start to grow confidence in your own strength around spirituality. Yeah, you start seek it out. But I do recommend it though, because spirituality helps you build your own spiritual resilience and strength. The stronger, the more you meditate, the more you're in touch with that energy. And when you start to do healing, or when you start to cleanse homes and stuff like that, it's important to have a strong sense of strength, a spiritual strength within you, because you don't know what you're going to encounter.
Yes.
So I'm always thinking about, although we do everything for the good, a lot of the times you're called to clear up places, and some of them don't feel really good.
No.
So it's around knowing that and be strong, have a strong set of tools to go in to do it.
Yes.
There's a place where you just want to be spiritual and not do all this work. But I say but because there's a lot of people that have just gone on to do other things once their spiritual strength has grown and confidence has grown.
Yeah.
A lot of the messages from society and in our culture have kept us away from spirituality.
Yes.
My own cousin, he's a minister, and when I told him I was going to be a spiritualist, he said to me, you're going to the dark side. And I said to them, no, I'm not. I said, I know what I want and I know what I don't want. And funny enough, now I'm his supervisor. So he's a minister. And I said, why come to me? I'm not a Christian. Like, I don't know the promise. I believe in great messages, but I said, why come to me to be your supervisor? Go and get another minister. He said, oh, no, because we do the same thing. And he said, I know where you get your stuff from. So he was okay with it.
We never know where we are going to end up when we follow our path.
Yeah. And I think like earlier tonight we were talking about how do we know that we're strong, or how do we know that we're safe? I think when people can see that you're consistent, they can trust you. People will gravitate towards you because they know that they're not going to be put down, that you're always going to respect them and leave them in a good place.
Yeah.
So the other side to spirituality is have your code of ethics. I call it my tikanga. That I never like. I always uplift people. I always leave them in a good place. What I don't do is I don't put people down. I don't put churches down. I don't hurt myself or hurt others. So people know that this is what to expect from them.
Yeah.
And that's when the trust and then the own spirit will flow, because the beauty of being the spiritualist is not to help create more toes, want people to help create themselves.
Yes.
And my role is to talk around the challenges that I've faced. And maybe it's the same that other people are facing, but they're common challenges that stop people from going into to the spiritual world.
And I would go and follow whatever else I'm being told. And for me, it's very important to share in my experience, right, that the healer for me, and I would love to hear what it is for you, but for me, it is the one that can, through experience, maybe share as well. But a healer does not come and heal you. The healing occurs through the connection with that person to source. And we can help that person to channel and to go through it. But if that person falls back into the same patterns, falls back into the same mindset, falls back into what it was before, then that healing will not perpetuate with time. Therefore, the person will go back to it. And we are our own healers. We all bring that within us. As long as you just shared, we are not hurting others. We are here for our highest good and the highest good of all. And having always that in mind, setting the boundary when it's necessary for others, not to also hurt us. It's very important to put across that message, that those healers that come and say, oh, come, I'll heal you. There is actually an intuition that needs to be guiding you, that is within. We have to stop putting that outside of us, I feel.
I think there's two types of healing. People are able to heal themselves with their own source. You're absolutely correct. I think the other way is just by being with someone and giving them encouragement helps them to heal.
Yes.
So there's the two types. It's not very true though. It's about being there and just being with them, and then walking away and they think, oh, gee, that was a marvelous time we had. It helped them. Just your presence, your healing energy help. And I totally agree with the source. I believe in that, and I think I wholly believe that when I'm doing any work around healing, because when I can go into that place of healing, my karakia, my prayer is to their ancestors to come in to meet mine. And together we will go this pathway. So I facilitate a lot to be able to bring awareness to what's going on. But the healing comes within that people's source, within their own family, within their source. So when you go away, the healing will carry on because there is their sources there. They know their source is with them.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That is very important. Yeah. That is the key. To allow the person to be held in that healing state throughout the time. That's beautiful. Thank you.
It's interesting because I travel around the world a lot, and they've got this karakia called wairua, and for those that don't know what wairua means, it's to go into a place and ask for protection and to clear the spirits in front. And I've been asked a number of times when I've gone over to Canada, to Indigenous places, to do the wairua. And I refused to do a wairua. I said, why don't you do the wairua? Go in and I said, I do a karakia prayer of let's join our spirits together rather than who might move their spirits out of the road and to push them on forward. But people have this, some people still have this sense that when you go into a place, you go to clear it, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's disrespectful, I think.
Mm.
You're going into another cultural place, you meet up, bring your ancestry to meet theirs to meet yours, and, you know, it's in a relationship,
Yes.
not power and control. I think that's some of the exciting layers of working within the spiritual world, that it's known, that it's recognizing that it's all in a relationship. And sometimes you might disagree, but it's all right. It's still a relationship. You know, you don't take things personally. People choose to go down other pathways, and that's why.
So for me, it's very important to share here is your dedication assisting mental health. As you just said and described, right? We all help each other. Therefore, there is a connection beyond the religion, beyond the culture, beyond it. We are all interconnected. So therefore, that part also is interconnected. It's not separated one from the other.
Working in mental health, mental well-being. Down here in Wellington, I was the tohunga for Māori, which is Māori mental health. And they wanted to know when they asked me, you come and ask me whether I would go there. And I asked why, and they said, well, we want to know whether these people have got Wairua. And I said, well, let's start from everyone's got Wairua. But also let's work out how it's been played out. Because some of them were they were assessed to be schizophrenia and psychotic, and bypassed the fact that they were spiritualists, but they didn't know how to work with them. So because they didn't have that mechanism to work with them, they were either shunted into another line, given pills to sedate them, and then they become addicted to the pills. So I said, well, I want to know about the spirituality. They said, oh, well, we can give you a breakdown of the mental health too. And I said, well, really, I don't want that for myself, because I said, you're the experts in that field. Otherwise, it starts to taint my own thinking around it. So I said, I prefer to stay in the spiritual zone. So, which was a big step for them, because they did a lot of work from a clinical point of view, that the family or the person that was impacted upon came and sat in front of a group of counsellors and stuff like that. And then had their session and went home. And then they were assessed from that. And when I went, and I said, well, we have to find out what's happening at home. Because if they're coming from their home, the spiritual things, then what's happening in the home?
Yeah.
So then I sort of went into the home, started to cleanse the homes, because, what's happening in the individual is also happening with the rest of the family. So that changed the whole concept of thinking from being a clinical mental health service to being a whānau spiritual organisation that focuses on spirituality. Yeah, so I saw one young girl, she was 11, and then I saw about 18 others that had spirit that were getting visits and didn't know what to do about it. So they were frightened of it. The parents were frightened, didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But when I told them that they were spiritualists, I said, you could either pick it up and leave it behind. But they said, the first thing they said, I'm really pleased, because I thought I was going crazy, because I couldn't deal with the crazy part,
Yeah.
But being a spiritualist, well, that's fine. They can let it go and not let it go. And some chose to develop it further, some didn't.
May I ask, what's your view on when someone represses that?
Sure. And down the track, though, they will most probably pick it up, because it's natural, and it won't be the first time that they get messages. But it's the first time that they've been aware of it.
Mm.
That was that thing of, oh, I'm glad I'm not crazy. They're really pleased because they go down another line now. They don't have to have pills for schizophrenia and in psychotic or psychosis, where they make psychosis was about imagining something happening. Well, now they don't have to imagine. It is happening. It is spiritual.
It is real.
And that's it. Yeah, and so they're released from the other side.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's about some of them are excited about it, but they don't know how to go down the pathway. But they're aware now, whereas before they weren't, and they won't be treated for being psychotic or schizophrenia or psychosis.
Yeah.
So they don't need to have pills.
No, they can be themselves.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tau. As always, it's an honor for me to be able to have these conversations with you and to learn and to share and to feel like I feel you are one of my mentors, and that's why I share your work. I think it's very important. Is there anything you would like to bring, any other subject that I may have forgotten or missed?
Excuse me. No, I would, in all sincerity, just like to ask you to be bold, be brave. Spirituality is a natural, occurrence, and it's a great. I won't say gift because I think everyone's got it, just has some, but some people use it more than others. And for me, the goal is for everybody to know their own potential. And the other side of my work is to educate the world that it's a resource, and they can go hand in hand together.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be either or.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're helpful to each other. And that's what our family members, we need the family members to be able to have both choices and together or individually. But thank you very much, Evelyn, for the invitation to come on and have this. I love this topic, and I'm always thinking about how I can do things better because it's an exciting place to be.
Yes.
And thank you.
Thank you. And well, I'm sure we will be able to hopefully do another one and continue, as I will always keep calling you anyways, whether we record it or not. So I hope you have a wonderful night. And also I have Walking with Tupuna, your wonderful book, taught me a few tricks that I have been able to share, and it talks about your life, how it all evolved and made sense, and assist you to embody the spirit realm here on earth. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate all your work. We'll talk soon.
Okay.
Send my love to your wife. Bye.
Yeah.